We all love to measure our accomplishments, whether they're personal, professional, or even athletic. You like to take stock of where you stand. And if you're truly the best at something, you might just set a record. Most of us, we love when a good record is broken. You know, that can trigger a heated debate, like who really is baseball's all-time home run king? Hell, there's even an entire book dedicated to keeping track of our most insane achievements. But unfortunately for us, our commander-in-chief keeps breaking records, just not the ones we want. After setting a new high with the number of illegal aliens crossing the border, Biden has done himself one better, with the price of gas skyrocketing to its highest level ever. A gallon of gas costing now $4.17. Go ahead, Joe, take a bow. And things aren't getting better anytime soon.
Today, I'm announcing the United States is targeting the main artery of Russia's economy. We're banning all imports of Russian oil and gas and energy. This is a step that we're taking to inflict further pain on Putin, but there will be cost as well here in the United States. I said I would level with the American people from the beginning. And when I first spoke to this, I said defending freedom is going to cost. It's going to cost us as well.
You're damn right it's going to cost us if you only ban Russian oil and don't pump American. Biden promised the American people he wouldn't raise taxes on anyone making under 400 G's. But if the cost of your everyday life surges thanks to inflation and this gas price spike, that's a tax hike on everybody. Energy consultants are already saying the increased fuel costs, you ready, are going to cost the average American household $2,000 more for gasoline this year. $2,000 more. This isn't just an energy crisis we're up against. It's an economic crisis, too. Banning Russian oil and not replacing it with a fuel from another source, like what we're doing right here, isn't a plan. Well, unless your plan is to drive up oil prices. If that's the case, you're doing a great job, Joe. And maybe that is the plan.
Motivate us to accelerate the transition to clean energy. Loosening environmental regulations or pulling back clean energy investment won't, let me expand, will not lower energy prices for families. But transforming our economy to run on electric vehicles powered by clean energy, with tax credits to help American families winterize their homes and use less energy, that will.
Biden can't let a good crisis go to waste. So he used the pulpit this morning to push his little pet projects like these electric vehicles that you just heard him talking about. I mean, that's less than 1% of cars on the road are electric. But suddenly, we're supposed to fill up the other 99% of America's roadways with EVs? That's Biden's short-term solution? Electric cars are pricey, and their cost is only going to surge as supply chain issues are going to make the price of those batteries rise. So the American people, still reeling from a pandemic recession and fighting historic inflation, we're supposed to go out and fork over hard-earned dollars for a new electric car and then install a little charging station in the garage, if you have a garage? Is Biden nuts? We here at Primetime wanted to know what the people thought about these energy policies, so we did what we do and we hit the streets.
Why aren't you driving an electric car? Joe Biden says that's the way to go.
I don't have $100,000.
If I can afford one, I would.
I can't afford one.
It takes a half hour to fill up an electric car.
I don't think the technology for full electric is quite there.
I don't care for electric cars.
Do you plan on buying an electric car?
No time soon.
Absolutely not.
Not right now.
No.
No.
Not at this time.
If there's more like electric ports or charge cars,
I won't be able to afford an electric car because I'll be out of money buying gas.
Joe Biden says you're polluting if you don't drive an electric car. What do you have to say?
How am I going to work?
He needs to keep in mind he's been rich forever. Like, a lot of people can't just, oh, no, yeah, I'm just going to switch to a Tesla.
He better focus to the gas price, not about the pollution.
if he's going to support us and basically give us some electric cars, I don't see why not, but he ain't giving nobody a car.
It's pretty accepted that we all pollute as part of our lives.
Everybody else is polluting.
You're polluting if you do a lot of things. I don't really care what Biden says, to be honest.
Joe Biden doesn't know what he's doing and what he's doing to this country.
F Joe Biden.
Not only are gas prices on the rise, they are now the most expensive they've ever been in U.S. history. How is it affecting you?
It's killing me. That number depresses me, dude.
It's putting a strain.
I have to consider like less shopping.
I take the train more.
I might charge people to get in my car.
I don't drive more than 50 miles in a week.
We're making less money.
I make less money.
A lot of bills and food and gas, everything's going up.
I'm not able to afford to get gas sometimes, so I have to leave my car home parked.
Some days I go home with $50, $60. I think it's enough to make a living with kids. No.
You're on Jesse Watters Primetime. If President Joe Biden is flipping the channels tonight, what do you want to tell him?
Yo, help us out, man.
What's wrong with you, man?
Give me an electric car, man.
Do a better job.
Please get it together.
More stimulus money, please.
Wake up.
I think he better consider retirement.
Retire.
We want Trump back.
The people know who to blame, even though Biden won't accept it. To Joe, this is all Putin's fault.
It's going to go up. Can't do much right now. Russia's responsible.
Just another Biden flip-flop. He spent the entire last week telling us he's doing everything he can to lower gas prices, but now suddenly there's nothing he can do. Putin played a part for sure, but gas prices were at $2.77 this time last year, long before Russia started this war. So sorry, Joe, this one's on you, too. On your first day in office, you killed the pipeline and paused drilling on federal lands. You didn't think that would have some effect on gas prices? Instead, Biden continues to lie to our face about his energy policies. Listen.
It's simply not true that my administration or policies are holding back domestic energy production. That's simply not true.
Here's what's true. A judge just revoked the biggest federal offshore lease in U.S. history. And Biden won't appeal the ruling. He won't appeal it. So he just killed the biggest federal energy lease of all time. Joe Biden, Gulf of Mexico. It's another record you broke, Joe. Way to go. You see, Biden cares more about his far-left base than he cares about doing what's best for the country. He's looking to help AOC instead of you.
It's very alarming that many of the people pushing to increase and skyrocket either imports or production, domestic production in the short term, are not talking about what we really need to be doing in terms of rapid investments in solar and wind. Solar and wind. Instead of listening to these people, Biden needs to come up with a plan to lower energy costs now, not become the punchline of late-night jokes.
Since the invasion, oil prices have skyrocketed. Today, the average gas price in America hit an all-time record high of over $4 per gallon. Okay, that stings, but a clean conscience is worth $1 or $2. I'm willing to pay $4 a gallon. Hell, I'll pay $15 a gallon because I drive a Tesla.
Of course you do. And it's not just the left. All America's enemies are laughing at us as we try to turn for them to our energy needs. Biden is going hat in hand, begging kings and dictators in Saudi Arabia and Venezuela, and possibly even the mullahs in Iran to pump more oil. He wants to pay blood money to these countries for their fuel, while they turn around and use the cash to continue to terrorize us and their own people. Well, if they take his call. There's a new report in the Wall Street Journal tonight claiming Biden got stiffed by the Saudis. Joe Biden called, and the Crown Prince refused to pick up the phone. Didn't take the call from the President of the United States. So much for being the most powerful man in the world. And for the whole climate change crowd, the oil that we make here in the U.S. is produced cleaner than any place on earth. So Biden's plan is to buy dirtier oil while making our enemies rich. Boy, is that stupid. But here's a novel idea, Mr. President. How about we use more of our own oil here rather than ask bad guys to throw us a bone? And if you're open to suggestions, we have a few. For starters, How about we repeal the gas tax? Even members of your own party are pushing it.
We need to suspend the gas tax, 18.4 cents a gallon. It will help reduce the inflationary pressures that are causing rising gas prices at the pump. And Americans should be angry.
Never thought I'd say this, but listen to Richard Blumenthal. And don't stop there. How about you cut the ethanol blending mandate? That actually causes more pollution, they just discovered. And while we're at it, let's open Alaska for business. Alaska has billions of barrels of oil ready to be pulled out of the ground. It's time to restore the suspended leases on the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. There's 600,000 square miles of Alaska, with most of it fertile drilling land. Look at that. This is how we restore American energy independence. We become self-sufficient on oil and gas, and then we can sell it to our allies who need it in Europe. Why do we keep pouring money into the pockets of our enemies? Let's protect ourselves by fueling ourselves.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.